When
I opened the gym, I think I had about 15
yeah.
15 lifters. Yeah.
How frequently were you coaching them on things?
6 days a week.
6 days
Twice
a
a day.
So it was actually like competitive weightlifters you were coaching basically?
No, they were all weightlifters. Yeah, I've only ever had like weightlifters and powerlifters.
Right, okay.
I don't really do any like fitness or
Not training any mults?
general training stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's lucky actually. So 15 members you started where? Just a really small place, so you just
Yeah,
got
it
a
was
big
like
warehouse
800 square feet. That's where we still are. That's where it is. It's still 800 square feet. There's 4 weightlifting platforms and 2 powerlifting combination racks. And then some other really small areas for like stretching and stuff.
Right, so just a really small place.
Yeah. Sometimes on like Saturdays there'll be like 35 people in there.
Oh wow.
It's a little bit crowded.
How much did it cost you to set up with equipment and things and
I don't remember. I think initially I spent probably about $12,000 initially on equipment and stuff. But you can do it for a lot less now.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like if I bought stuff, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on really nice stuff. I think people think of a gym as like it's gonna be like their dream clubhouse, right? So they spend $10,000-15,000 on the nicest, Alico bars and on their favorite brand of weights or their favorite, the rig is expensive and the nicest this and that. And people get this idea that like if you have some nice equipment that it's a better draw for people to the gym, but I've never seen that happen. Where you have the nicest gym and that's why people go there. No one ever says I go to that gym because it's great, the training's shitty, the people are shitty, but the gym is nice so I stay. You should spend less money on that stuff. Just buy equipment that's decent from a good manufacturer.
Yeah.
And save a little bit of money and then put that money into other things like hire somebody to video stuff.
Right.
Build your business that way. I mean, put way more money into, the side of business is actually going to produce more profit rather than just, spending a ton of money on the nicest space or the nicest stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need Alico barbells. I mean, the best in the world have trained on bars that were not Alicos.
Yeah.
You get something that's cheaper, get, Rogue, or, you don't need 5 competition sets if you have 5 platforms. You might need 2 or 3 sets and then a little incomplete stuff.
Yeah.
And then build that up over time, right? As you do more stuff, build it up.
I've even heard some people say that space is one of the most valued things in the gym, like actually just having space to walk around in.
Yeah.
Without just having, power X everywhere, machines or whatever.
Our space is only 800 square feet, so I can't really answer that, but you definitely, more space would be better. If you build it in a way that it can expand without you having to move out of it.
Yeah.
If you are in a CrossFit gym, but you rent a certain amount of space, and then you maybe can rent more space later in the deal, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I would also try and, if I was a beginner weightlifting coach setting up a gym, I would go to a CrossFit gym and set up a gym in that gym, right?
Right, yeah.
Trade them make a deal for rent, maybe your rent's gonna be, $1 a foot, and you rent out 1,000 square feet, and then you offer them a deal where you coach them and their trainers for a discount on that rent. So that as you get more proficient, as you get better, you can reduce that and start paying the rent so you have more time. Initially, it saves you a little bit of money by offering a deal to them and coaching them, a mutual exchange.
Yeah.
Those are good relationships to have. Being in CrossFit gyms is a great place to be. You're surrounded by people that are going to appreciate what you do and possibly become clients. And
What about, do you only do personal training, or do you do group training sessions as well? Because I've heard a lot of people say it's actually better to do that.
I don't do either of those.
You don't do either,
you
just coach.
Powerlifters. Yeah.
But in that sense, you don't coach people one-on-one or coach people in a group setting?
Well, I mean, from 5:30 to 8:30, if you're in the gym, you're getting coached.
Right, that's pretty cool.
I mean, there's no...
Right, I just know some people, run basically classes because that's a good way of, making
people call it a class, but I don't refer to it like a class. It's just
it's
team practice, team training.
Right.
I show up, they show up. I instruct them on the important stuff and teach them how to do things, and then when they're done with those, I go home.
So that's just part of the actual training?
That's the training, yeah. That's how, I train everybody as a team, as a competitor. So they get trained as though they're a weightlifter or a powerlifter, like they would be if they were on a team somewhere else. We all train together, everybody shows up at the same time, we all train as a group. you know, they all train, you know, I used to do things where people would train on different programs because it was more individualized.
Yeah.
But, you know, largely now I do everybody on the same program with minor modifications for each person. I'll just tell them in person what that is.
So what would that be, just as an example for?
Well, maybe your legs are weak, so you do some extra belt squats instead, right, after your normal squatting session. Maybe somebody else's back is really weak or their shoulders are weak, so they do a little different accessory exercise. Maybe your floors are stiff or tight, you can't get the right spot, so you do your presses from behind the neck, whereas somebody else might do them from the front.
Right,
Yeah. Or it's just small modifications like that, you know.
But the basic structure of the training is...
The basic structure is the same, right? The periodization is the same, and the basic exercise choices are the same, but you know, maybe it's a snatch day, it's a light snatch day, and you might do power snatches because you're really slow, and maybe someone else does, you know, muscle snatches because their pull is really weak, or you know, whatever.
What else? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, someone might do a little different drill, but that's all.
Right. So what about using the internet to start your business on that? Because you talked to me about that yesterday, saying that.
Yeah, you know.
One of the things you wish you'd done was really just using the internet to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after seeing the success of people, you know, master trainers and, you know, exceptionally good coaches like Jason Blaha, I realized the amount of money those guys make doing what they do on the internet. Like, I would start there before I started a physical gym. Because you're going to have an income in the gym itself. You can put a lot more into it if you're not forced to make a living off of it.
Yeah.
Right? You can save your sanity by not being there 24 hours a day. You can also pull back and you know, still have income from the other stuff, but you can also build the gym because you already have a following.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you probably enjoyed being in the gym more then as well, if you know what you mean.
I did, yeah. I mean, it's definitely like, I would definitely say anymore you have to have those skills to be good, to develop a good business, you know.
Yeah. You don't even have to be that smart to make a good business online, sadly. You just have to put out shit that people see.
Yeah, I mean, you just...
What is a good way to like actually, you know, so if you actually have good information, how do you get people to buy into that even if it isn't fancy shit? Do you just kind of...
Well, you shouldn't have to, there's no, I mean, you just present it the way it is and do what you do and have a passion for it and people find you,
Yeah.
The cream rises to the top. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Right.
As you get better at it, eventually people figure it out.
Right,
you know? Who's the most popular powerlifting coach, do you know?
I don't actually know. I think Dan Green is pretty popular.
Dan Green knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Dan Green, Chad Smith, both those guys know a lot about what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're very good at what they do. You know? And then, you know, other people are there too, right?
Yeah. Well, people have found those guys
Jason
through the internet. Yeah, I mean, basically, people have been found through the internet, right? That's where they get their audience from. How did you get started? I know, like, you have some really old videos, like just using, like, do you even have a YouTube channel?
I do.
I really do. I need to subscribe to that, I think. Just like all your videos.
There's not a lot of videos on
shit.
it.
Nothing
I
to do
a lot of
You should. But I know you had some old videos in Super Training. Was that kind of where you got, where people got to know you? Was that kind of...
Probably from the Cal Strength videos.
Oh, really?
Glenn Penley used to film my squat workouts.
Oh, nice.
And post on them.
Yeah, I've never seen those actually.
So you should go watch them.
I definitely should.
Yeah. They're incredible.
I bet. Like the martial arts skills you have.
You seen that? Yeah, that was the Cal Strength.
I think that's
I was trying to squat that. I think Jacob might have been there that day. I don't know, but I was trying to squat that 320 kilos.
When you tried it like 7 times?
Yeah, I was trying to.
7 times. Wow.
I missed that squat 18 consecutive times.
Holy shit.
I made it on the 19th try. The 19th try happened to be my second attempt at a powerlifting meet.
No.
And I missed my third. I don't even know what I took on my third.
Yeah, I remember you coming in during
I
the
think I
stages,
passed on my third.
and it was just like your program was squatting, attempting to squat 3, and your PR at the time was like 300 or 305.
300.
And I remember being like, why doesn't he do 310? Like he just goes for 320 every time.
That's all I wanted. 6 reps. 6 reps so far.
Wow. Yeah, I bet that looks really nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, you know, it was a dumb way to train, but it's what I did at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Just gotta train hard. For most people, that'll probably work well, I guess. But why is it some people get shit results from training? I mean, you can say genetics, but still, like, I know lots of people who have been training for a long time. They don't have, they're not born like pieces of shit, but they don't get anywhere from training.
If you're born like a piece of shit, you're probably a shit.
You should probably have a YouTube channel then.
I don't know. I mean, it's such a hard question to answer.
Do you think people just do too little in training? Is that it, or they just don't push it?
Maybe. I mean, people probably just don't train hard enough. I don't know.
What is training hard to you? I mean, you've done some weird shit, but
Training hard is just doing the things you need to do, regardless of how much work it is. Right?
So
because training isn't just whoever suffers the most equals the best lifter.
Yeah.
That's not the case. It's just training hard is doing all the things necessary. If that means you have to do 200 working sets for that week, then that's what you have to do. If it means you have to lift a really heavy weight, one time, then that's what you have to do.
Right.
The difference between, it's really not, for me, it's a difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs can go in the gym and do whatever they want. Professionals have to go in the gym and do what's necessary.
Right. So I can fuck around more, basically.
Well, the difference is like maybe today your workout is to do a weight that you've only done for 3 and you're supposed to do it for 5 or 4 today.
Yeah.
Professional has to do it for 5.
Right. Okay.
There is no other option.
Go 19 times if that's what it takes.
Well, whatever. I mean, you just make up your. That's why I think a lot of the rest of the world is better at weightlifting. In general, is that they take it very professionally.
They just the attitude towards it is just.
There's just no.
Serious.
It's just it's a profession. If someone pays you millions of dollars to take a football from one place to another and get into the end zone, and you don't get into the end zone, they're going to pay someone else millions of dollars to do it.
Right. Yeah.
So you find a way to make that happen. Right?
Yeah.
It's a very American ideal.
There's probably some truth to it, yeah.
This country is built on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not a lot of the athletes they have as well. People from bad backgrounds, basically. Their way of making ends meet for their family is weightlifting, basically.
Well, a lot of those sports like boxing, weightlifting, are better suited for people that come from those backgrounds because those people have to fight.
Yeah.
They're used to hard work and they don't believe that there's something that they're supposed to get from doing the bare minimum.
Right.
They understand that to become exceptional, they have to go above and beyond normal. I think it's a weird thing. You see a lot now. There's a lot of this belief that in order for weightlifters in this country to be good, to get better, to be great, they need to have some kind of support, some kind of external support system. You need to have money prizes, and there needs to be some kind of sponsorship for people, and they need to be getting money to lift, and it needs to start right when they get decent. But that doesn't exist in any other sport in this country.
Yeah.
The prospects for the NBA don't get stipends and support. I mean, there's scholarships for school and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those things exist, but it's not the same we're gonna put you up in your house, and here's these people, and we're gonna dole out money because you did a good snatch and you clean and jerk. I mean, how many people have almost nothing going into the NFL?
A lot of them, I'd say.
And a lot of them don't make it at all. And there's no expectation that they're supposed to get anything when they're trying out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there's definitely support, there's definitely those things, but not on the same level as a government handing you, money monthly to train.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just, I think there's this idea now that it's a necessary thing. You have to support athletes with tons of money, and that's the only way they're going to get better.
Yeah.
And then look at the OTC.
I mean, it would probably make it easier for a lot of people. So
maybe it may not change anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we have plenty of people that have had support in the OTC for a long time, and we don't have gold medals in the Olympics now. So it's clearly not the only factor. It's clearly not a big enough factor to make a giant improvement, because as a whole, I don't think we've really improved in lifting
need to add some bands and
So
change
dramatically,
to
right?
signatures.
Yeah.
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 That's the secret.
There are no secrets.
Just work hard on
The irony is that there is a magic pill. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the irony is that we
Is it something about a detox?
We all know that, we all say, and everyone talks about the fact that drugs are a thing, and drugs, you know, and we all talk a lot about like, oh, there's no magic pill, it's just hard work. But we all know there is a fucking magic pill. I mean, there's guys, if you take, you know, Dianabol, you're gonna get stronger. Like, there's a magic pill out there.
Yeah.
I think other countries realize that, and a lot of those countries are fixated on it, and they've got the support and the structure and the infrastructure and system to just stick to the old way of doing things. They'll just take whatever they can get away with and just keep doing that, round and round about. Pay off what they pay off, take what they take, find a way to beat tests, those things, right?
Yeah.
That's just not, we're not going to do that. It just doesn't exist. I mean, there's no, you know, great, other countries are doing it, doesn't mean we can't get better.
Yeah, of course.
If we're not going to go down that route, then we need to just forget about it and move on. I mean, we can't have any effect on what anyone else does.
Right.
You know, you can only change the things you do. You can only make yourself better or affect yourself. So don't worry about the rest of the world doing drugs or your genetics or this and that. Like, find coaches, train coaches, find better athletes, train them. Like, it's the only process, the only way it's going to work.
Yeah, what do you think about coaches for beginners? Because I've heard most people would probably say everyone should get a coach starting out, and I've heard other people say like, oh, don't get a coach because you need to learn your body. Something, I don't know.
I've never even heard that.
I have, and it was horrible. I heard it at work and I was like, I couldn't work after that.
You know, I would, if it was me, I would find a coach who's, I mean, find a coach because you want to train in a club. If you want to be a weightlifter, you have to go to a weightlifting club.
Yeah.
If you want to be a powerlifter, you should be in a powerlifting club.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it in 24-hour fitness and do those things, but it's far less good than, it's far less of an ideal situation than just
I mean, you probably just learn faster as well. I mean, even just seeing people who are stronger than you.
Being part of a team is part of the sport, right?
Yeah.
You have to have some passion and some kind of sense of competing for something that you believe in.
Yeah.
Right? If you believe in your team, then you lift for them, you compete for them, rather than just
doing it for fun.
Doing it for fun and 24-hour fitness.
Right, yeah. I think last thing I have on here, besides some more stories about people doing weird stuff in the gym, teaching the squat, because you know a thing or two about squatting, I think.
Okay.
So if new guy comes in, like him, someone has to teach him how to squat. How would you go about doing that? So besides just looking at him doing it and maybe showing him how it's done.
I would show him how to do a squat.
Then when he sits back and points his nipples at the ground, then...
Well, if he does things that I don't want him to do, I'll tell him to stop doing those things and tell him to do the things I want. But the best thing is to just show them what to do and let them kind of sort it out in their mind, learn some kinesthetic awareness. So you just push them into position and show them what you want and teach them and explain to them what parts are important, what they need to focus on. You don't want to say too much about it. You don't want to break things down too analytically. You certainly don't need to write a book about teaching someone how to squat.
Yeah.
Right? You can do it in a short amount of time. It's also the process of training has an effect on learning.
Yeah.
So day one, you're not going to teach someone to do a perfect squat. They're not going to do perfect squats from day 1 to day 700.
How long does it typically take for someone to do a decent squat? A decent means I don't know what that means.
Everybody's so different. I mean, some people could do it day 1. Some people are always going to struggle because they're lazy or they don't want to do all the other stuff to take it from crappy to better.
I actually had a friend come over and want to train with me back when I had my power rack in the basement.
Yeah.
Like some Asian guy, and he just sat down on the floor and stood back up like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like my other friend, he couldn't go halfway down without just falling over.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
You just have to, as a coach, you just start coaching. You have to start coaching people.
Yeah.
Coach your friends, coach people, work on those things, make sure you're learning those things and making them better so that you learn more about how to coach people. The more you do it, the better you're going to get.
Right.
Don't think that you're going to become a better coach by reading a ton of stuff and learning and knowing a ton of stuff without actually applying it.
Yeah, of course.
A coach is somebody who actually is there behind the lifter, behind the person at the conversation. They're there in the gym. That's a coach, is a person who's there all the time, always there.
Right.
Just being an expert or a talking head, you know, you sit on your couch with a quilt on it, and
Yeah.
you're just spewing out names of people that are
On drugs
you
and
know,
shit.
people that are on drugs that say they're not. I mean, it's not really a coach
Yeah.
until you actually put your methodology into practice on a person.
Right, right. What to really just, if you have to
how
get like
nice
the,
that quilt is.
Yeah.
It could be a beautiful quilt. If you're just sitting on it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah. I hope, let me just tell you I really hope it's on. I like that stuff. No. Oh, it's, is it recording? Oh, it's recording. Yeah, good, nothing. Okay, so just in general, because you fixed my squat a bit, you just having me squat for my knees forward a bit more. That kind of, I don't know if that fixed my knee pain, but I don't, my knees don't hurt anymore. So
Yeah.
which they have been for a while. So like when you saw me like doing my shitty squats, I don't know what to call them, but what were the first thing you like fixed basically, and what do you want me to do to get you on your squat?
Stay upright.
That's-
Don't sit back and don't lean over.
So just stay as upright as you can basically throughout.
Not as upright as you can, but upright. The right amount of upright. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be the most. It's probably not going to be tipped over. It's going to be
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle. You should feel comfortable.
Right,
You should
right.
feel. When you're done squatting, you should feel a uniform stress across your
Right.
muscles that you're working. Right? It shouldn't be like all the pressure is on one side or the other. Too much in your quads or too much in your hips or all in your low back.
Yeah.
It's not correct. It would be, relatively distributed.
Right, generally you find people have weak quads all the time, mostly, because
I think people are just untrained in general. They don't have a lot of training, so they don't have very good movements.
then there's like the misinformation of things that have people doing things funny as well.
It's just inexperience. People just don't. Most people that come to the gym aren't, haven't been lifting for a long time. People that have, you don't need to do much to change those things.
Yeah, right. Cool.
Is it good?
Yeah, I think I just see if there's a few more. I wrote a bunch of some things I just wrote down just to have some things. Yeah, a friend of mine asked about a hip shift because he's been having some issues like shifting to one side.
Yeah.
I think he hurt his back a while back in a powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been. He wants to see a hip shift video chat made, but he still didn't feel like that helped. So he just wants to know if you had any experiences with that.
I mean, that stuff's pretty good. I don't know what else I would maybe do other things. But just keep trying.
Yeah.
Try as many things as you can. If you have a problem, you have to try as much as possible to fix it, right? If you just think it's going to go away and you ignore it, it's not. It's going to just be you have to do whatever you can to fix it.
Right.
Do everything you can to fix it.
Oh shit, I think we made it all the way through. Alright, so last one. Funny anecdotes about Ivan at that CM or something like that.
Got you? And
He'll let
so
him
many
butcher it to
stories
us.
about him. I don't even know.
All the stories you can. We have plenty of time. I have plenty of time. I don't know. You have
I know,
to
yeah.
catch a plane pretty soon, but
Yeah. I can't even think of a good story right now.
come on.
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll just remember it, like just moments during the day that I remember things, but yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head right
It's
now.
too bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry guys.
yeah, I'm sure I'll remember it in 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You can put it in the comments or something. If I figure out how to put it on YouTube.
yeah,
Does every Mac come with iMovie? I don't even want
yeah,
to
I think so, yeah,
I think so. I'll just pirate Sunny Vegas again, I think. Yeah.
yeah. You have an iMac? Or a
I
Mac?
have a Mac, yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes with iMovie.
Cool, man. Well, I think that's it. So,
Cool.
thanks for the interview. There you go.